Okay, thank you. All right. Welcome to the Scituate Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. It is 6:31 p.m. I am going to read Governor Healy's, well, let me just get to it. So on March 29th, 2023, Governor Healy signed into law a supplemental budget bill, which essentially allows us to extend temporary provisions, including remote meetings pertaining to the open meeting law. That extension is through March 31st, 2025. Specifically, this extension, as I just mentioned, allows public bodies to continue holding meetings remotely without a quorum of the public body physically present at a location, and to provide adequate alternative access to remote meetings. This meeting will be recorded by Scituate Community Television and can be viewed live on Scituate Community Television Facebook Live. The recorded meeting will be available the following day on Comcast Channel 9 and Scituate Community Television. I am going to read our commitment statement, and then I'll call the meeting to order. This is a safe, secure space for all people, especially people of color, and for all underrepresented people and communities. This is a space where people can bring up challenges and questions without fear. We will assume best intentions, and we will treat one another with politeness and respect at all times. This committee is dedicated to these standards. We want our members and others joining our meetings to feel welcomed and respected. Okay, so with that, I would like to call the meeting to order. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, thanks, Angela. All right, I'll call the roll. Reverend Stewart.
Yes.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti.
Yes.
Ms. Risha.
Yes.
And Ms. Swope. I got a thumbs up. She's driving. Don't touch too many things on the wheel or whatever. And I'm a yes. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you, Angela, for doing the meetings. And as a few of us discussed before this meeting went live, based on alphabetical order, Christina, you've got it next, followed by Elena. So again, thanks, Angela. I went through them. I don't have any updates personally. Does anyone else have anything, any amendments, additions, anything at all? All right, I will move to accept the minutes from July 18th, 2023. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, calling the roll. Reverend Stewart.
Yes.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti.
Yes.
Ms. Risha.
Yes.
Ms. Swope. Thumbs up. And I'm a yes. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Let's see. I mean, I'll launch into just a couple updates. Obviously, anyone can jump in. Who actually put me in touch with this person? I want to say someone on another committee. Sorry, I should have been ready for this. Someone on another committee. Who was it? Sue DePisa, if anyone knows Sue DePisa. She put me in touch with a woman named Carrie Quealy Son. Last name is spelled S-O-N for meeting purposes, meeting minute purposes. Christina. She is interested in joining the committee. So I had a conversation with her, I want to say Friday, last week. I was out of the office a lot the last 2 weeks, so like I'm really jumbled in terms of my days, but I believe it was Friday. I had a great conversation. I have put her in touch. I communicated with Maura because we did have an open slot. You know, we have 7 voting members. We can have 8, is my understanding. Maura confirmed that. And Carrie is getting in touch with Lorraine Devon to set up an interview with the select board. So that's just something to hopefully by next month, because I know that there's some things you need to go through. Maybe she's interviewing tonight, who knows? Because the select board we do have a conflict given that I moved the meeting a week, so we're not going to have more tonight. But I was pretty excited to talk to Carrie again. I think she's going to be awesome, and so we'll sail through the process. I'd also just like to point out that we all re-upped for this committee, which is awesome. So I'm really excited about that, and I just think it's great that we've able to maintain quite a bit of continuity. I'd imagine that a lot of other committees in town probably have a lot of turnover. I mean, I don't really know. This is the only committee I've ever been on, but that's my guess. So that's fantastic. All right. Yeah, so I want to touch on those 2 things. Jamil, I know you're driving. I mean, I definitely want to get into the what are we calling it? The event that we had. Again, my days. Was it last week or was it the week before? So sad. It was the week before, on Friday, August 11th. There was an event at the community center. I saw Christina, I saw Celia there. Jamil, before we launch into that, and I know it's a downtime for you from a school perspective, do you have anything you want to touch on before I kind of give a bit of a recap on that?
Yeah, you're talking to me?
Yep,
you can. I'm just in and out because I'm in the mountains of Vermont right now, but I'm trying to
Good for
hold
you.
on as long as I can. But go for it. Yep, you can go ahead and then I'll fill in. But first, let me just say thank you to everyone on that screen. Show love, and I just appreciate that. My family and a few of the focus of we. So this is awesome. But by all means, go ahead, Tom, and then I'll add on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we tried a lot of different community organizations pulled together for that, which was really gratifying to see just as a Scituate resident. I don't know the numbers. There were, I think, over 100 people showed up at the community center.
Or it's at 120.
Okay, sounds about right. And it was all ages, kids, senior citizens, and everything in between. Stride did, a lot of heavy lifting for the event, putting it together. Can't say enough about the job that they did. To see a lot of school-age kids, coming up, hugging Jamil, chatting with Jamil. He's obviously developed some awesome relationships with the kids, as well as, all of us and other people throughout the community. So I thought it was awesome. We decorated our bags with the candles in them, and there's pictures that hopefully a few of you have seen. I'm not sure like what's on Facebook or whatever. I got an email from Stride and looked at the pictures. They were fantastic. Dina Dre spoke, was incredible. Nikki Sanders, our former, I shouldn't say old, our former chair. I hadn't seen Nikki much, since our work together on the committee, on this committee. It was great to see her. Was able to chat with her and meet her son. So that was cool. Obviously, Jamil spoke as only Jamil can, and was incredible. Really inspiring, and all the things that Jamil does. And I'm going to leave out a speaker because I cannot remember his name. He's a teacher. Do you know who it is, Christina?
Yeah, John Scapoletti.
Okay. You can try to spell that for the minutes. But he was great too. Unfortunately for him, he had to follow Jamil, which is like following Hendrix at Woodstock, as people like to say, of a certain age. But yeah, it was great. So I don't know. Does anyone have anything they want to add about that?
Honestly, I couldn't be there, but because I was on vacation, but I had my church get involved, and the reports back from my parishioners who went said it was a fantastic event, and they were just so pleased to see all these different groups in the community working together, and the sort of outpouring of support for Jamil and the work that he's doing that could happen on pretty short notice, in the middle of the summer. So like they were just really impressed by that. And we always love to hear Jamil at our church. So of course they raved about everything he had to say. So it got really good feedback in my congregation.
Yeah, I also wasn't able to attend because I was in Savannah, Georgia, but like Reverend Stewart, I heard it was a wonderful event, and I'm glad there were so many people attending and all ages. I did see some of the pictures, and I saw a wonderful video that someone put together. So yeah, I'm really happy that it was such a good turnout.
What I would add is that the energy of our time together was so strong. And the topics that we all touched on while we were speaking was so powerful and so connected to the Scituate and the South Shore. I mean, there was mention of, folks who were brought to the shores, that very shore, in that space where we was there. There was mention of why can't we do more together and do more together. There was mention of folks just sharing love with each other. It was just so powerful. The luminaria lining the beach was just amazing just to see that. I know that from my family to everyone's families in the South Shore on this screen is just thanks and love. Again, that allows my folks at home to just feel good about what we do and how we are connected together. The video that's produced, it's a great video. Dina had some folks visiting from out of Oregon, and I didn't even know they were filming. But then at the end, Dina said, "Hey, check this out." I don't know.
The mountains are getting the better of Jamil right now.
Amazing, and the editor, like it's just been shared a little bit now, and I think it's probably gonna. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello. All right, there we go. So I'll be brief. The video that Angela was talking about, I have a copy of it. I'll send it to when I get to once I'm not driving. What I'll do is I'll send it to you, Tom. You can get it out to the rest of our SDIC team family here. I think it's really powerful, and it's just great. It sheds a lot of good energy. I think that there'll be the folks want to do more. Oh man, I'll stop right there. Can folks hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello?
We can hear you. Yep.
All right, so I'll stop there. I mean, it was just great and it was powerful. Reverend Stewart, I owe you we had a retreat today, and so I wasn't able to go to the office and get the magnets to you. So okay. I still got to get those to you because a lot of folks want the magnets. I know that a lot of folks are coming to you these are the magnets that say Scituate is the love that hate can't stop. And so we're gonna get those out to folks. I'll get those to you. If you want, you can have someone come over to the office, but I'll try to get someone to drop them off as soon as possible tomorrow over to the church. And then I think you wanted something to go over to town hall as well, right?
Yeah, so I actually have to go to town hall tomorrow, so I'll just stop by the office and grab them from whoever's there, and then I'll bring them over.
Oh, okay, so this is where they are. They're in the office where I hang out at.
Okay.
And if you go the desk where the plan is, like on the floor, there's a little box. It's a heavy box because that's where all of the magnets are. That's it right there. You just take that box and that'll be it. That's where
Okay.
they are. Okay.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I saw you had an email about some.
Yeah, about the
About
yard signs. I just had a
Yes.
like little design idea today, so I put it together, but you can get back
All
to
right.
me whenever. I know we're still waiting on
Okay.
approval to put those in front of the schools, so.
So we got a green light. I just got talk to the principals and they put it in there, but we're good so far. So
Okay.
we should be all right.
Good.
Okay.
We'll get yard signs that say the same thing, basically everyone as the magnets, and put them in front of the schools, hopefully the library, senior center. I think if North Scituate Pharmacy had a place to put it, they would put one up for us. Then we should put one obviously in front of town hall and probably in front of St. Luke's, just because we get a lot of traffic right there on that corner from the school and town hall and all that. Other churches, if they want them, of course, can have one too. So I thought we'd order like 10 and kind of start from there, and we can get more if we need them.
Awesome.
That's
I
great.
also wanted to share with folks that there are other districts in the South Shore that on the heels of the Luminaria Love event, folks were want to do more with us. And so I think we'll see some more of each other, meaning folks from Duxbury and Hingham and Hanover, those other places, and we'll do more things together. So we should look forward to that. Also, I know in the heels of that, we are planning to have an event that celebrates love. More than likely in February, could be March, and it'll be district-wide at the least. So that's something that's in the beginning planning stages, and our lit teams will be involved with that. So I can share that with you all. And again, the inclusion of love, inclusion, and trust all throughout the strategic plan is something awesome as well to see that playing out. So we all are doing good things together. We do it together. It's just so wonderful. I mean, folks share a lot of love and they're directed at me, but I'm never alone because we are all together. So it's always all of us. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, it's obviously unfortunate that an event like this, it's never needed, but it lights a fire under different groups, right? And I think the magnets and the yard signs, they came as a result of the swastika, right? And then it was quickly followed up by this other situation. I did, so like some of the conversations I had, I just sat at a couple of tables at the community center a week ago Friday, and I was asking a few people I didn't know, do you know that there is a DEI committee in town? And most people don't know, which isn't really that surprising. And what I kind of, I think, struggle to do sometimes is just explain like what we can do and what we can't do, and when the Stride put together a Zoom meeting that was also very well attended a couple weeks before the Luminaria, and I know Angela, you were on that. I think Christina, you were on that. There were some others that were on that. I forget exactly who, and I apologize, but so I kind of got on a soapbox at that, and I talked about like that topic, and I said, listen, we want people to bring recommendations to us because like none of us are experts, and like we're trying to do the best we can. We're volunteers, but if there are recommendations on things that you think the town can do better through a DEI lens, or any type of marginalized communities within town, underrepresented, using the example of the senior citizens, which a lot of people wouldn't necessarily think of as a DEI issue. There are, I'm not saying that we can act on everything, but please bring recommendations. So I'm hoping that happens. I mean, to that end, I have been exchanging emails with Lauren Vitale. If anyone knows Lauren, she's part of Stride, and she has a lot of experience in the world of, I'm not going to call it an equity audit, but close to it, like compensation audits, those types of things for, so she has an idea around town employees. She's been busy with college drop-offs, so have I. We are going to connect, I believe, next Tuesday, and at least have kind of just a quick call so I can kind of get a little deeper, or she can get a little deeper into what she's thinking about. So hopefully we get more of that, from the community, and then the better that we're known, I think the more work, frankly, that could come on our plate, and hopefully we can drive things towards recommendations. Okay. Let's see. So since our last meeting, we did get in front of the select board. So I'll share my screen just as a refresher as to what we did. Okay, can everybody see that? All right. So on July 25th, it was myself, Erica Soros, and Bob Clark got in front of the select board with encouragement from the audience, from Angela and Christina. So I think we've all seen these slides. I don't know, honestly, if from our meeting on the 18th to this meeting, if we made many changes. I do know that Bob and I met like one additional time in between our last DEI meeting and the select board meeting. So we may have made, a few changes, but it was great to have Erica there. It was great to have Bob there. The select board only had, like, that night there was only, I'm trying to think, Mark Curran, Andrew Goodrich, and I think Karen Conley. So the other two select board members were not there, which it happens, it's summertime. But it was, they certainly, they gave us a pretty big slot. So we were probably up there for at least a half hour, if not more. So we went through this. Again, you guys have seen this before. We got into the recommendations. The number one here was the one that we were really going after in terms of, okay, this is a red alert item. We need this. Linda Hayes is the director of the Scituate Council on Aging. She was brought into the loop by Bob and I think Erica, and she's on board. The second recommendation. So the first one was a licensed clinician. Second one is a caseworker, case manager. So the lower level, I guess, reporting directly to Erica. And then the other piece was, it was originally a recommendation, and then we said, okay, there's a lot more work that's probably going to need to be done for the Scituate Police Department piece around anybody, social workers, similar to what Hingham has done, I believe Winthrop, Braintree, and I want to say, I've got it in my notes somewhere, Marshfield might be looking into it, and so on. I could be wrong on that. So good meeting. And then we did get into the equitable communications as well. Didn't talk about this for a long time, but did get into it a bit. They mentioned and confirmed that they are bringing on a town communication specialist. And I think I mentioned that we would love to talk to that person when they come on. Okay. If I didn't say it in the meeting, I meant to say it, but I think I just can't remember. So the one thing that, coming out of the meeting, because there were various discussions, right? So, and this is me, probably most of us, maybe not you, Christina, because you're a town employee, but trying to understand, okay, so we make a recommendation. Let's just take number one, for example. And what we're really asking them to do is there's already an outreach coordinator, case manager position that's an open position in the town. Okay. And it's not getting filled. They're not getting good applicants, what have you. So we wanted it to be changed to a licensed social worker with the commensurate increase in pay. And maybe this is just me being naive, but I just kind of optimistically was hoping that the money would just be there, right? I don't think that's going to be the case. It sounds to me like, and there's been a few communications between Erica, myself, Bob, Maura, Jim Bedro's been brought into the loop as well, and I think Linda Hayes has as well. It sounds like this has to wait until the next budget period, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. And because the next budget period, I believe, is the annual town meeting, which is April, right? So then, if that's the case, April is the next town meeting. I don't have a timeline for like when the new job specs would be posted, how long it would take to interview and bring someone in, and then probably 6 months for them to get up to speed. That's a year plus. And my concern is Erica, her workload is borderline not sustainable. Now, what they have said is that they would double down on filling the position that they do have open. But that's the same position that they've been having trouble filling. So I don't know.
Tom, I mean, have we started to discuss a middle ground? Like, if there's not enough funding for a full-time employee, is there one for part-time employee at that licensed clinician level? Like, there are options. Does the town ever bring on like contract employees with just on a contract? Like, that's probably a question for Bob, but I feel like if then they lose Erica, then SOL, like, I don't know how else to say it diplomatically. That's not ideal. So
I'm just writing down what you just said. I don't know. It's a great suggestion. Like I even said to can we fund it through a grant in the short term to cut corners? I don't know.
I also just want to chime in as well, because I work in social services. So those positions are incredibly hard to fill right now with qualified applicants. I have had success with large referral bonus or large sort of bonuses after 90 days of employment. So if the town is willing to say do $3,000 signing bonus that you get after 90 days, that might help get some applicants. And I do think contract employees or temp to hire employees, sometimes you can get folks a little faster.
Yeah, so obviously Bob could make it tonight. So I don't want to speak for him. I think he was taking some time off and more as well. So I think the last note I sent them was late last week, probably Friday, just trying to figure out what this means from a timeline standpoint, like what are they doing to essentially hire number 2 on here, right? Because the case manager, case worker position, as I've said, it has been open. I don't know if they just need to boost the compensation or what. I think that is one of the problems with the job, is that the position is not, it's not market.
Tom,
So-
the other thing, and again, this is a question for Bob, but since this position was budgeted at the case manager level and has been vacant, that is how X number of months salary not paid. So that's money in the budget. So if it's a matter of rolling it over, can that be done? Like the money is there, right? So if we haven't filled the position in 6 months, that's 6 months worth of salary that could be then, you know what I mean? Roll over into
Yeah, I
the next
do.
budget cycle until they budget for it again in April.
Yeah. it's
Also,
a great
isn't
point.
fall town meeting in October? I don't know if that's something that like a question for Bob or
I don't
for,
think they do budgets then.
oh, okay.
You only do like special things, then they won't do any sort of routine business, which this would kind of fall under because it's the budget.
Thank you for letting me know. Good to know. Bummer though.
I know.
Yeah.
I've run into this problem. That's why I know.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think, we've raised the issue, right? I mean, we made the recommendation. I don't want to just let it sit though, right? So I think,
I think we need to
Erica.
keep this in front of them as much as we can. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, even if it's just, Maura's not here tonight, but when she's here saying something, just to kind of for her to remind the select board that this is very much on our radar. And I think Kate and Celia had great ideas about like how we can maybe fill it temporarily or something in the meantime.
absolutely.
I think
Yeah, we can get in
if
front of the
we
select
keep
board.
talking about it and keep bringing it up, then we'll just be the squeaky wheel, and hopefully that will get something done. Because as we always fall back to, right, we're the place that recommends, we can't actually do.
Yeah.
But we can be a squeaky wheel and keep recommending over and over again every time we see them and suggesting ways to make it work.
I hear
Love
you.
that.
I totally agree.
Along the lines of being a squeaky wheel, maybe we should all find the job posting and send it out to our networks. Put it on LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. We could just say, hey, we're involved in a committee in town, or we live in town, great opportunity for someone that's looking for one. Maybe just help them get a few extra candidates.
An awesome idea. I haven't even gone looking for the job posting, I'll be honest. And I think from getting to know Erica over the last couple of months, she would like nothing more than for us to help her be the squeaky wheel. Not that she isn't willing to do it, but I just know she's so busy, and I think we could really help her out. I don't think she necessarily, I think until just recently, and I think it's primarily the work of this committee, she hasn't necessarily felt heard. This was the first time she'd ever gone in front of the select board, anything like that, right? So now it is on their radar. They seem pretty surprised, through no fault of their own, at the level of some of the issues that are going on with the senior community, the 911 calls in general that have a mental health component, and so on. So I definitely think we can help here. So we just can't give up, right? And obviously you guys just threw out a bunch of great recommendations. So let's see what we can do.
Tom, too, just for the record, and again, I'm not in social services, but like I deal with some employers who are, obviously. I would start researching, like the US Surgeon General declared mental health a workplace basically emergency. I don't know if that declaration last fall came with a set of grants to states or towns or cities we could pursue. That's one idea. And then a lot of the health insurers in the state have dedicated mental health like initiatives. They fund locally depending on the towns. So I would look into like Blue Cross of Mass in particular, and Point 32 Health. I would just start searching, you know, not just the typical grants we would go after.
Yeah. I appreciate that. All right. Anything else on that topic? Okay. All right. Then what else? Like I said, we can get in front of the select board as often as we want, right? So if we start making headway with the police department, I know we've got some slides for the police. I know we've got some slides for DPW. Honestly, I'm not sure where those stand right now. And I apologize if we went over them at length in one of our last couple of meetings. How do people feel about those? And we have the slide on equitable communications. I know there's a lot of great ideas there that, you know, Elena, I think Cecilia, you guys have put your heads together on a lot of different things. They haven't necessarily mushroomed into actual recommendations. I mean, we had the slide. We said, okay, these are the focus areas that you should focus on, but is that something that we could think about putting together?
Have we seen the updated slides? I know Elena was keeping it in the same format as what was used for the other departments, but did that get circulated back to everyone?
Yeah, I think everyone has the last copy. Tom, I think you sent it for DPW and police. I think police was in the one that needed maybe another set of eyes on it. And I know with DPW, the last step was just Bob was going to share it with Kevin Cafferty to make sure nothing's changed since we met over a year ago. But otherwise, that was ready to go to the select board as well, if he says nothing has changed.
Okay.
But I wasn't in the police meeting, so everybody correct me.
I wasn't in the police meeting either, but Celia, do you mean like another set of eyes, like that group needs to look at it again, or we need to send it to like the chief of police or Mandy or somebody?
I don't know. I don't know if they already have looked at it. I don't know. But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I wasn't in that meeting either, so I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I don't think we've sent the police anything.
No, I don't think so either.
So yeah, we probably have to look at it. I was in that meeting with Ruth, the initial meeting a couple years ago. So yeah, I'll take a look at that again, but I think we definitely want to give it to them to review before we present it to the board.
I'm looking for what I sent out. I can't find it. Does anybody have it? I'm looking for like the DPW slides, like the bigger deck that Elena, I think, was working on, and a number of us were making updates, but I can't put my hands on it right now.
I'm looking for it too.
I think I've got it. All right, let me share this. Hopefully I'm sharing the right screen. So this is a mishmash. Is this the deck? Let's get to DPW. This is it, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you had mentioned, that this was supposed to go in front of Kevin.
Yes, so I last connected with Bob and he was gonna just see him in person at town hall and make sure that this was still up to date.
Okay. And Bob was gonna show him the slides, or?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Do you mind, when you have time, sending Bob a note? You can.
Yeah.
CC me or whomever.
Yep.
Ask him that.
Will do.
Okay.
Because too, some of these recommendations, I mean, were ideas that Kevin had in our meeting, like some of the local outreach, so I don't think it'll be any issue.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing I would say is, like, can we take any of these slides and basically say, just hard and fast, this is our recommendation? I mean, maybe it's semantics, but
Yeah, we can just consolidate, Tom, like some of that, the communication stuff could really be one bullet, and actually I integrated it into the equitable communication slide, like I mentioned.
okay.
Some of the DPW stuff in there for that job.
Okay.
But it might be nice, Celia, to like have like one sentence or whatever, and then when it's presented to be like, as we said before, when we were talking about equitable communication, blah, 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 you know, like to sort of, again, just kind of bring it all together for them and remind them that this isn't a new topic. It's like, it's more of the same.
Yeah.
Just a different department that needs help, or the same as before, right?
And now that we know, like, there's no money even in this budget cycle, even though Maura had shared they were in the middle of it, you know, some of these recommendations, for example, are to pay for training for some employees because of the certifications so many of the DPW positions require. So need to elevate that now.
Yeah, I mean, clearly just based on what we just went through, right? So, and I don't know when, so April town meeting, I think it's usually in April. We may only have until the end of the year, for example, to submit for budget dollars as part of our recommendations. If they have to go and find money, I mean, the sooner that we can come up with that, the better.
I believe the fiscal year changes in July. So we vote it in April, and then the new year for fiscal year starts in July.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Just as we're thinking about timeframes for stuff. So just because we vote it in April doesn't mean it's going to start in May, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I was, just when I was thinking through this whole timeline for Erica and social services, I'm like, just because if they voted in, I mean, I know it's not like they're gonna post the job the next day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they start to have budget hearings probably soon, maybe like in October.
Okay. Yeah, and Maura's all over that. I mean, she can definitely help us with all that timeline stuff. So, okay. All right. So, I mean, I'm not going to go and ask Maura for a time slot yet, but can we agree that when we do get in front of them, again, I'm not sure where the police department slides stand, even if we need to go forward with them at all. I don't know. I've kind of lost the plot on that, I'll be honest, but we can focus on DPW. And then maybe we take equitable communications like to the next level. Because I just think we've talked about that so much, and we already gave them the one slide just saying, hey, these are some potential areas, but like we can really hit it hard and say, look, this is what needs to be done. So like we could probably hit on those two things, maybe other things too, but, and it's August 22nd. So like maybe we target something in like October or something like that for the next one. Okay. All right. Anything else that anyone wants to bring up? I don't have anything else that I had kind of jotted down as my own little bulleted list. Nope. All right. Okay. As always, I mean, look at the future meeting dates. I've become pretty adept at moving meetings around. You guys have been awesome. Our attendance has been great lately. So that's fantastic. Next meeting up is September 19th. And yeah, if people have issues, as always, just reach out to me. But with that, I would like to call for the meeting to be adjourned. Do I have a second?
Second,
I can.
Okay. 3 different people.
everyone wants to adjourn.
Take your pick for the minutes. Okay, Reverend Stewart,
Yes.
Ms. Dre,
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti,
Yes.
Ms. Swope,
Yes.
Ms. Risha,
Yes.
and I am a yes. So it is 7:18 p.m. The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it, as always.
Thank you.
Bye.
Drive safe, Camille.